Market disappointment. The Saints lose the third in a row, fifth on the road in 2015, the first time in a decade that the Saints have finished the game without a scoring touchdown. That's been 2005. That's 155 freaking games. And I did not want to say freaking just now.
Right, that's bad, man.
I mean, if we was on satellite, I would have said the F word, you heard me? And I ain't
Be
talking
careful.
about
Please be
Falcons.
careful. Please careful.
I
We
am
need
not
these
talking about
jobs over
Falcons.
here. We need these jobs. I got
Houston's
bills to
offense
pay.
got off to a fast start, and the defense did the rest. Drew Brees' streak of consecutive games with the touchdown pass ended at 45. That is the fifth longest in history. J.J. Watt had 2 sacks, pushing his NFL lead total to 13.5.
Well, let's hear from JJ. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, what's up, JJ?
You guys might want to try somebody else at right tackle.
Watt tackle.
Really, bro? Really, bro? I think Drew Brees had something to say about that. How about right tackle didn't allow any sacks or any pass hurries or any passes defended? So even, maybe it's because J.J. Watt was moving all around the defensive line. He was playing left tackle. He was playing, he's all over the place. And that was part of the reason why we couldn't defend him. Because
that's part of the reason why I would love J.J. Watt to come to the Saints.
Yeah, well, guess what? We ain't got that kind of pushing power. Unless we traded Drew Brees to the Houston Texans, who damn well could use a quarterback. And I'm saying right here, right now, I ain't mad at the Saints. If we trade today or at the end of the season, we'll trade y'all Drew Brees for J.J. Watt straight up.
What?
You heard me?
Yeah, that's
I mean, okay, I
yes.
get it. I mean,
I'll take that.
never,
And I love Drew Brees. And I ain't mad at him.
I'll
Look,
never.
he ain't got to drive too far. He's got 4 hours to ride to buy a new house, straight up. And that's not because of Drew Brees' play. He's been great.
It's
but
he
it's time to move
better.
on. No, I'm just saying.
Drew Brees deserves better.
Anyway, on the opening drive, Brian Hoyer went 7 for 7, capped by a 10-yard touchdown to Ryan Griffin, another tight end, getting off on the Saints. And that was the first time Houston scored on the opening drive this season. Of course, always teams do their first stuff on the Saints. Drew Brees was 25 or 44 for 228 yards, which isn't a big number yard-wise for Drew Brees. He had an interception. The Saints were 3 of 12 on third down. That's their worst third down conversion rate of the season. Brian Hoyer, quarterback for the Texans, was 21 of 27 with an interception and 2 touchdowns. On the Texans' second drive, they drove easily downfield, and Hoyer shoveled past to Cecil Shorts for an 11-yard touchdown and a 14-0 first quarter lead. So, this game just got bad real quick. Hoyer completed his first 11 passes before he was intercepted by Jarius Byrd, but the Saints could not move the ball and had to punt. The Saints came to some bit of life in the middle of the second period when Marcus Murphy returned a Houston punt 12 yards to the Texan 48. But Mark Ingram sparked the Saints with a nice 29-yard gain.
Like always.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he went downtown. He almost got, 30 yards from out the backfield. Running the ball, But after a delay of game, here's that penalty stuff showing up again. And an 8-yard pass to Ben Watson on 3rd and 11. Okay, you got 11 yards you need, but you get an 8-yard pass. That's not what we needed. So it's 3rd down. On 3rd down, you need to go for the 11, not 8. Anyway, the Saints drive stalled at the Houston 12-yard line. So, the Saints were showing some life at this point. Even though they were down 14-0, they got down to the Houston 12, but they had to settle for a 30-yard field goal, and they made the score 14-3. New Orleans stopped the Texans again, the 3rd time in a row. So here they are, the Saints early. I know it looked bad at the end of the game, 24-6, but here the Saints are in the first half, stopping the Texans 3 times in a row defensively. It says a little bit about who Dennis Allen is and what he's doing. And after an 11-yard intentional grounding, again, I'm going to say the word, penalty, the Saints had a 2nd and 21. That's not a good way to start a drive, baby doll. How many yards you need to get a first down? 10. So here you are. You start off 1st and 10, but then you had 2nd and 21. It seems like a double ways to go, right?
I mean, how many times did Drew Brees get sacked that game?
He only got sacked twice.
He only got sacked twice,
yes.
And he couldn't complete any of those. He couldn't make it happen.
Right. Well, good point.
You got to point your fingers to somebody.
You got to point your fingers at somebody.
I pointed at J.J. Watt. He was doing
that's
the
what I'm
thing.
saying. Yeah. And that's not a detriment.
I hate to say that. I hate
good
to
call.
say it,
It's
but
true. It's true. He was in their face. Well, the Saints and then after the 2nd and 21, Mark Ingram again sparked the Saints with a 17-yard reception. So
of course.
Mark Ingram showing his stuff, man. And then Drew Brees hit Snead for 24 yards, got a first down to the Houston 39-yard line with 1:31 left in the half. 2 incomplete passes later, the Saints had to settle again for a Kai Forbath career-long 57-yard field goal, 14-6. Saints 2 drives. The
It
at
seems
halftime.
like everybody had a career long in the Saints season except for the Saints team.
Well, I mean, the kicker made a 57-yard field goal. That's pretty good. Of course, we wanted a touchdown.
And Breeze broke some records too. And
Oh, he's always breaking
Oh,
records.
and Mark Ingram broke some records too, but I don't have the stats in
That's
front
all
of
right.
me.
Mark
It's
Ingram's
he's
doing
like
great.
3,000, some crazy number.
Right. Well, the third quarter opened with Hoyer getting completions of 37, 14, and 7 yards, leading to an Alfred Blue from LSU 8-yard touchdown to put Houston up 21-6 early in the third quarter. I can't. 21-6 in the beginning of the third quarter. It's hard to come back from that. I just don't know what to say about it. I mean, it's horrible to have to sit there and watch this when you know you got the second or third ranked offense in the NFL. The Saints punted, and Houston again drove 8 plays, 54 yards to lead to another field goal. Which is the good thing about this is the Saints held Houston instead of to a touchdown to a field goal, and it's a 24-6 lead in the middle of the third quarter. After trading punts, the Saints were finally driving again, and here we felt like, okay, this is our last shot to get it. Okay, so they're driving down the field. At the end of the third quarter, Breeze hits Ingram for 5, Watson for 15, Snead for 13, Spiller for 7, Watson for 26. We got all the way down to the Houston 16-yard line. Interception! Drew Brees is trying to throw to Brandon Cooks at the goal line. Somebody steps in front of it. I say bad pass choice by Drew Brees. He should have threw it high over the guy's head. But let me tell you this right now. End of the third quarter, game over.
Intercepticon. That's what
You know,
you
I mean,
we are turning the ball over too much.
I mean, it's end of the third quarter. You're down 24-6.
That was a pivotal.
I thought it was going to be a touchdown the way Brandon Cooks was running. And when Drew Brees throws, when you look at Drew Brees and he sets up and he throws, it always looks like it's going to be a complete pass. And then, oh my God, it was an interception. So, but had it been a touchdown, it would have been 24, maybe 15. Then you were in the game. Then you're one touchdown away, So, or a touchdown and a field goal away. So, but since it wasn't a touchdown and it wasn't an interception, Houston returned it to the 50-yard line. Basically, before the fourth quarter, the game was essentially over. So,
Corey, call back.
Since we finished talking about the Houston Texans debacle win over the Saints last week, I'm going to go ahead and answer the phone right now.
Oh, since Corey is actually calling.
No, it's not Corey. I thought that's what the guy was saying. His name was Tyrone Hughes.
Now you're the guy.
all right.
Tyrone Hughes!
No, I was saying Coleman.
Right.
Coleman. I'm sorry, Coleman.
Hey, that's your last name.
Yeah, nice
Don't
try.
tell people that, by the way. That's my secret
Nice try.
identity.
We want to welcome Mr. Hughes, the newly inducted Saints
Saints
Hall of Famer. Well deserved. Say, brah, during the 90s when you got all of them returns and you was on the Saints team, bro, it was so nice to have you because that team wasn't the best of teams, you know what I'm saying? And you gave us a spark, and then you had some record-breaking games. You played defensive back for us, bro.
I don't think I was alive while you were playing.
No, you
but I watched all the highlights.
You was alive, but your bra size was a little different. That's all.
I watched all the games, and I was like, man, this is just moments in Saints history that, it's unbelievable.
I showed Baby Doll some of your highlights, bro, so now she's a big Tyrone Hughes fan, even though y'all already drank together downtown at the Carver. You know what I'm saying?
Drinking and playing is totally different.
But we got.
You know what? I don't know what happened on my Facebook page and even on YouTube. I guess when you go to it, they have the induction ceremony in my speech, but within that speech, they have a highlight showing, all of the returns and everything. But for whatever reason now, it's blocked. They're saying because of copyright infringement or something
I'm gonna tell you what.
I own those plays.
No, I'm gonna tell you right now what it is. It's the stupid NFL Illuminati, bro, because they had so much more stuff before they had NFL Now, which is the mobile app they got for now for the NFL. So if you don't have the NFL Network, you can't get all of that stuff. They done took it all off of YouTube, bro. So thank you, Roger Goodell. But anyway, Joe Horn done ragged on them, bro. Did you play with Joe Horn at some point, or he was after you?
No, Joe was after me.
Well, I'll tell you what, bro. How was it feel? How did you feel? I mean, you from New Orleans, bro. So how did it feel to play for your hometown team, bro, at your age? You with Nebraska, back to New Orleans. Talk to me about being a Saint.
Well, first of all, I've always got to give homage to that 2600, that school over there on 2600 AP2 Road.
Oh, you bringing it back?
The Purple Knight.
Yes, indeed. Hello. St. Augustine's in the house, the best marching band in New Orleans. Oh, my God. Everybody loves going to the parades. And when I go to the parades, if I ain't been there in a minute, I'm like, you know what? As long as I see St. Aug's band, I'm Gucci.
They are good.
Yeah, bro. So, yeah,
you know
what?
everybody wants to compete against them and challenge them, but, we started it all.
I'm from Chalmette, bro. I remember when them boys came played down at Bobby Nutt Stadium. They busted us in the mouth a few times. You heard me?
Well, no, I'm gonna just say that it's been a privilege and an honor.
Nice.
The way that I've traveled and gotten to where I've gotten
Number
to.
33.
Going from the hometown kid at St. Aug, went off to Nebraska. Everybody wanted me to go to LSU back in the day, but they weren't the powerhouse that they are now.
Yeah, and they didn't have the right coaches at the time. No,
you
did the right thing because at that time Nebraska was up and coming, bro. You know what I'm saying?
They were.
Who was the Nebraska coach at that time?
One of the top teams.
Who was coaching?
Who was the Nebraska coach at that time?
Tom Osborne.
I mean, really good question, Smiles. Great choice, Tyrone. But anyway, talk to us a little bit about your journey from Nebraska to New Orleans Saints and tell us about your Saints career.
And like I said in my speech, it was always whether it was high school. I played the game to have fun. I knew I was going to college because my parents were going to make sure of that.
Oh yes,
but I wasn't
Thank
going.
you, Mom and Dad.
I wasn't expecting to be on a scholarship or really and truly because I really didn't flourish until my senior year at St. Aug.
Right.
And went to Nebraska, played well there, and ended up getting drafted to the hometown Saints.
Now, when they drafted you, when the Saints drafted you, did they draft you as a return guy, defensive back, or did they think you were going to be both?
Well, they actually, in the majority of my career, I had always been a receiver.
Okay.
And a returner. But what happened when I got to Nebraska my junior year, I broke my wrist. So the Orange Bowl that year, I played, and actually, if you watch 30 for 30, when they're showing the Miami Hurricanes, there's a game against Nebraska.
What a great game that was.
Yeah, there's a game against Nebraska on there, and I'm actually returning the kickoff with a cast on my hand.
Oh, my God. Now, that's balling, baby. I ain't heard Coach. Put me in, Coach.
I played defensive back against the Miami Hurricanes my junior year.
Who was quarterback back then for Miami?
I want to say it was Dino Torretta.
Okay, before him.
Torretta.
Yeah. Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, and then my senior year, I actually played both ways in about 5 games.
That's like old school.
Offense and defense.
That's old school, bro. They haven't done that since you talking about the early 90s or late 80s. They hadn't done that since the late 60s.
Yeah, I played offense and defense about 5 games my senior year. We played against Florida State in the Orange Bowl again.
Yeah, you're right.
My senior year against Charlie Ward, and I actually was
Charlie Ward was so good.
Charlie Ward, yes, he was.
Yeah, he was.
And ended up from that point, or from those 5 or 6 games, the Saints I knew needed a punt and kick returner,
right?
But they drafted me as actually a defensive back.
Okay, there you go. Thank you for answering that question because that's a big deal. Because when you did get to the Saints, I mean, we talking about is that in 91, 92, or 93? What year was it?
93.
93. Okay, we talking about now that's when they were transitioning from the Bobby Hebert era to maybe a little bit of Steve Walsh and then Wade Wilson. So the offense was mediocre, but they still had some of that Saints Dome Patrol back then, and you had Gene Atkins.
Somebody know they Saints.
Oh yeah, I'm the sports guru, baby. Look, straight up, I got you, dog. I'm front, back, and back.
So wait, let me ask you this: is there a starstruck factor? You're playing high school, then you play in college, then you actually drafted to an NFL team.
Yeah, right.
Was that starstruck? Like, did you feel like you belonged there, or was there like a pressure?
It is a shock to you because
like you said, your high school senior year was the final year you made it big, so you had to be starstruck at that point. But go ahead.
Yeah, because I go into get with the Saints and. Actually, like you said, that year Bobby left to go to Atlanta.
Right.
Pat Swilling left to go to Detroit. So I did get the chance to play with Vaughn Johnson, Sam Mills, and Ricky Jackson.
Yeah,
keeping in mind, like you said, we had Steve Walsh, we had Wade Wilson, but I mean, I'm still playing against, Jerry Rice. Deion
Absolutely.
Sanders,
Joe Montana, Steve Young. Yeah, right. Yeah. Lou Bledsoe. Yeah.
At what point did you realize, all right, this is the job. I need to get these stars out of my eyes and realize, wait, I need to actually perform.
I need to beat these people.
Oh, no, you learn that. You learn that quickly in training camp. Because actually, obviously, the majority of the rookies, I don't care if you're a first rounder or Or at least back then. I don't know how they treat
what
them these
round did
days
they draft
because
you?
everything is kind of. I got drafted in the 5th round.
So that's
but as a rookie, the coaches definitely treat you a lot different than obviously they're going to treat the veterans.
Oh my God!
They want you to make sure you're staying focused and keeping on track with everything and not getting the big hit. And again, like I said, whether you were a 1st round pick or 12.